Let me know when you're on. Hi, Miss Coughlin and Beck. I see you guys on. Hi, Maya. I hope you're doing good, sweet girl. Hi, Daniel. I'm at a new place today. I'm at my mom's house reading, so that's why my background is different tonight. And I tried to wear a positive shirt today too. Hi, Miss Bale. Like Miss Dickinson did. Mine says choose happy. I feel like we need to choose happy on a gloomy day like today. So me and Miss Dickinson had the similar ideas wearing the positive shirts today. Hi, Jet and Ashley. I'll wait maybe another minute, and then I'll start reading. Hey, Jet. Hey, Brayden. Hi, Penny. Oh, congratulations losing your first 2 teeth. That's pretty awesome. All right, I'll go ahead and start, and more people can hop on. But remember yesterday we read a chapter from Charlotte's Web because my class had already been reading this book. And we're going to read another chapter tonight. And where we left off was Charlotte had decided to write a new word in her web to make everybody believe that Wilbur was special. And so they decided on the word terrific. So she is about to start on that word. And then we'll see what else happens in this chapter. But this chapter is called Good Progress. Far into the night, while the other creatures slept, Charlotte worked on her web. First, she ripped out a few of the orb lines near the center. She left the radial lines alone as they were needed for support. As she worked, her 8 legs were a great help to her. So were her teeth. She loved to weave and was an expert at it. When she was finished ripping things out, her web looked something like this. Here's a picture. It does have a small picture. Sometimes chapter books have pictures, not always. A spider can produce several kinds of thread. Oh, trying to see people's comments. A spider can produce several kinds of thread. She uses a dry, tough thread for foundation lines, and she uses a sticky thread for snare lines, the ones that catch and hold the insects. Charlotte decided to use her dry thread for writing the new message. If I write the word terrific with sticky thread, she thought, every bug that comes along will get stuck in it and will spoil the effect. Now, let's see. The first letter is T. Charlotte climbed to a point at the top of the left-hand side of the web. Swinging her spinnerets into position, she attached the thread and then dropped down. As she dropped, her spinning tubes went into action and she let out thread. At the bottom, she attached the thread. This formed an upright part of the letter T. Charlotte was not satisfied, however. She climbed up and made another attachment, right next to the first. Then she carried the line down so that she had a double line instead of a single line. It will show up much better if I make double lines. She climbed back up, moved over about an inch to the left, touched her spinnerets to the web, and then carried a line straight across to the right, forming the top of the T. She repeated this, making it double. Her 8 legs were very busy helping. Now for the E. Charlotte got so interested in her work, she began to talk to herself, as though to cheer herself on. If you've been sitting quietly in the barn cellar that evening, you would have heard something like this. Now for the R, up we go, attach, descend, pay out line, whoa, attach, good, up you go, repeat, attach, descend, pay out line, whoa girl, steady now, attach, climb, attach, over to the right, pay out that line, attach, now right down and swing that loop around and around, now in it to the left, attach, climb, repeat, easy, keep those lines together, now then out and down for the leg of the R, pay out that line, whoa, attach, ascend, repeat, good girl. And so, talking to herself, the spider worked at the difficult task. When it was completed, she felt hungry. She ate a small bug that she had been saving. Then she slept. Next morning, Wilbur arose and stood beneath the web. He breathed the morning air into his lungs. Drops of dew catching the sun made the web stand out clearly. When Lurvy arrived with breakfast, there was the handsome pig, and over him, woven neatly in block letters, was the word terrific. Another miracle. Lurvy rushed and called Mr. Zuckerman. Mr. Zuckerman rushed and called Mrs. Zuckerman. Mrs. Zuckerman ran to the phone and called the Arbles. The Arbles climbed over in their truck and hurried over. Look, there's another little picture. You can see it clear as day, the word terrific. And once again, all the humans are thoroughly impressed. Hi, Anna. Everybody stood at the pig pen and stared at the web and read the word over and over while Wilbur, who really felt terrific, stood quietly swelling out his chest and swinging his snout from side to side. Terrific, breathed Zuckerman in a joyful admiration. Edith, you better phone the reporter on the Weekly Chronicle to tell him what has happened. He'll want to know about this. He may want to bring a photographer. There isn't a pig in the whole world that is as terrific as our pig. The news spread. People who had journeyed to see Wilbur when he was some pig came back to see him now that he was terrific. That afternoon, when Mr. Zuckerman went to milk the cows and clean out the tie-ups, he was still thinking about what a wondrous pig he owned. Lurvy, he called. There is no more need no more cow manure thrown into that pig pen. I have a terrific pig, and I want that pig to have a clean, bright straw every day for his bedding. Understand? Yes, sir, said Lurvy. Furthermore, said Mr. Zuckerman, I want you to start to build a crate for Wilbur. I've decided to take the pig in the county fair on September 6th. Make the crate large and paint it green with gold letters. What will the letters say? Asked Lurvy. They should say, Zuckerman's famous pig. Lurvy picked up his pitchfork and walked to get some clean straw. Having such an important pig was going to mean plenty of extra work. He could definitely see that. Below the apple orchard at the end of the path. Oh, trying to see if anybody said anything else. Hi, Ella and Braden. Below the apple orchard at the end of the path was the dump where Mr. Zuckerman threw all sorts of trash and stuff that nobody wanted anymore. Here in the small clearing, hidden by young alders and wild ripe raspberries, was an astonishing pile of old bottles and empty tin cans and dirty rags and bits of metal and broken bottles and broken hinges and broken springs and dead batteries and last month's magazines and old discarded dish mops and tattered overalls and rusty spikes and leaky pails and forgotten stoppers and useless junk of all kinds, including a wrong-sized crank for a broken ice cream freezer. Templeton knew the dump and liked it. There were good hiding places there, an excellent cover for a rat, and there was usually a tin can with food still clinging to the inside. Templeton was down there now, rummaging around. When he returned to the barn, he carried in carried in his mouth an advertisement he had torn from a crumpled magazine. "How's this?" he asked, showing the ad to Charlotte. "Hey, Landon. It says crunchy. Crunchy will be a good word to write in your web." "Just the wrong idea," replied Charlotte. "Couldn't be worse. We don't want Zuckerman to think Wilbur is crunchy. He might start thinking about crispy, crunchy bacon instead of a tasty ham. That would put ideas into his head. We must advertise that Wilbur's noble, not his tastiness. Go get another word, please, Templeton." The rat looked in disgust. He sneaked away to the dump and was back in a while with a strip of cotton cloth. "How's this? It's a label off of an old shirt." Charlotte examined the label. "It says pre-shrunk." "I'm sorry, Templeton, but," she said, "pre-shrunk is out of the question. We want Zuckerman to think that Wilbur is nicely filled out, not all shrunk up. I'll have to ask you to try again." "What do you think I am, a messenger boy?" grumbled the rat. "I'm not going to spend all my time chasing down to the dump after advertising material." "Just one more, please," said Charlotte. "I'll tell you what I'll do," said Templeton. "I know where there's a package of soap flakes in the woodshed. It has writing on it. I'll bring you a piece of that package up." He climbed off the rope that hung on the wall and disappeared through a hole in the ceiling. When he came back, he had a strip of blue and white cardboard in his teeth. "There," he said. "How's that?" Charlotte read the words, "with new radiant action." "What does it mean?" asked Charlotte, who had never used any soap flakes in her life. "How should I know?" said Templeton. "You asked for words, and I brought them. I suppose the next thing you want me to do is go fetch you a dictionary?" Together they studied the soap ad. "With new radiant action," repeated Charlotte slowly. "Wilbur!" she called. Wilbur, who was asleep in the straw, jumped up. "Run around," commanded Charlotte. "I want to see you in action, so I can see if you're radiant." Wilbur raced to the end of his yard. "Now back again, faster," said Charlotte. Wilbur galloped back, his skin shone, his tail in a fine, tight curl. "Jump into the air," Charlotte called. Wilbur jumped as high as he could. "Keep your knees straight and touch the ground with your ears," called Charlotte. Wilbur obeyed. "Do a backflip with a half twist in it," called Charlotte. Wilbur went over backwards, twisting as he went. "Okay, Wilbur," said Charlotte. "You can go back to sleep." "Okay, Templeton, the soap ad will do, I guess. I'm not sure Wilbur's action is exactly radiant, but it is interesting." "Actually," said Wilbur, "I feel radiant." "Do you?" said Charlotte, looking at him with affection. "Well, you're a good little pig, and radiant you shall be. I'm in this thing pretty deep now. I might as well go the limit." Tired from his romp, Wilbur lay on this clean straw. He closed his eyes. The straw seemed scratchy, not as comfortable as the cow manure, which is always delightfully soft to lie in. So he pushed the straw to one side and stretched out in the manure. Wilbur sighed. It had been a busy day, his first day of being terrific. Dozens of people had visited his yard during the afternoon. He had to stand in one pose and look as terrific as he could. Now he was tired. Fern had arrived and seated herself quietly on a stool in the corner. "Tell me a story, Charlotte," said Wilbur as he lay waiting for sleep to come. "Tell me a story, please." So Charlotte, although she too was tired, did what Wilbur wanted. "Once upon a time," she began, "I had a beautiful cousin who managed to build her web across a small stream. One day, a tiny fish leaped into the air and got tangled in the web. My cousin was very much surprised, of course. The fish was thrashing wildly. My cousin hardly dared tackle it, but she did. She swooped down and threw great masses of wrapping material around the fish and fought bravely to capture it." "Did she succeed?" asked Wilbur. "It was a never-to-be-forgotten battle," said Charlotte. "There was the fish, caught only by one fin, and its tail thrashing wildly and shining in the sun. There was the web, sagging dangerously under the weight of the fish." "How much did the fish weigh?" asked Wilbur eagerly. "I don't know," said Charlotte. "There was my cousin, slipping in, dodging out, beaten mercilessly over the head by the wild thrashing fish, dancing in, dancing out, throwing her threads and fighting hard. First she threw a left around the tail. The fish lashed back. Then a left to the tail and a right to the midsection. The fish lashed back again. Then she dodged to one side, threw a right, and another right to the fin, then a hard left to the head while the web swayed and stretched. Then what happened? Asked Wilbur. Nothing, said Charlotte. The fish lost the fight. My cousin wrapped it up so tight it couldn't budge. Then what happened? Asked Wilbur. Nothing, said Charlotte. My cousin kept the fish for a while. Then when she got good and ready, she ate it. Tell me another story, begged Wilbur. So Charlotte told him another of her cousin who was an aeronaut. What's an aeronaut? Asked Wilbur. A balloonist, said Charlotte. My cousin used to stand on her head and let out enough thread to form a balloon. Then she'd let go and lift into the air and carry upward in the warm wind. Is that true? Asked Wilbur. Or are you just making that up? It's true, replied Charlotte. I have some very remarkable cousins. And now, Wilbur, it's time you went to sleep. Sing something, please, begged Wilbur, closing his eyes. So Charlotte sang a lullaby, while crickets chirped in the grass and the barn grew dark. This was the song she sang. Sleep, sleep, my love, my only, deep, deep in the dung and in the dark. Be not afraid and be not lonely. This is the hour when frogs and thrushes praise the world from the woods and the rushes. Rest from care, my one and only, deep in the dung and in the dark. But Wilbur was already asleep. When the song ended, Fern got up and went home. So that's the end of that chapter. So the next chapter is called Dr. Dorian. And remember, I told you all my class and I kind of likes to predict what we think is going to happen next. So Dr. Dorian, I'm wondering if maybe this is somebody that's going to look at Wilbur and see if they think he really is remarkable or if something's different about him. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. We'll read the next chapter again tomorrow, but see if you can think of any predictions you think might happen in the next chapter. So I did a vote earlier about what was the next book I was going to read, and I had some Twisted Fairy Tales on there and Piggy Pie, and the one that won tonight was the twisted version of Goldilocks, which I love. Once again, so funny. This one is called Trust Me, Believe Me, Goldilocks, the story of the three bears as told by Baby Bear. So once again, we're hearing this story from a whole different perspective. We usually hear it from third-person perspective from the narrator. This time we're hearing it first-person perspective from Baby Bear. So Baby Bear's in the story. He's telling us the story, and he's going to talk to us about why he thinks Goldilocks actually rocks. So let's get started. I'm going to try and show you all the pictures best I can. Okay. First things first, my name is not Baby Bear. It's Sam, and I'm not nearly as wee or as small or as tiny as people think. And Goldilocks, ever since she broke into my house, she's been one of my best buddies. It's true that she does take a lot of chances. She's not a bad kid, at least no worse than I am. Let me tell you the real story, and you'll see. It all started when I complained about my breakfast. Porridge again, I said. The next thing I knew, we were all out the door for a walk. Dad, also known as Papa Bear, grumbled something like, he'll eat it if he's hungry. At first, I lagged behind. Stay where we can see you, Baby Bear, called Mama, a.k.a. Mama Bear. I ran ahead. Not so fast, Baby Bear, called Dad. I stomped my foot. My name is Sam. Then I ducked into the woods and took my secret shortcut home. So I think it's funny that he's so mad to be called Baby Bear. It's pretty funny. When I reached our house, I heard a voice. Someone was inside. I didn't know what to do. Should I Dad for help, or should I chase off the elf? Baby Bear would have made a run for it. Not Sam. I peeked through the kitchen window. A girl was taking pictures with her cell phone. Huh? Well, this'll teach Little Red Riding Hood to double dare me, she muttered. Goldilocks does not lose in Truth or Dare. She paused in front of the porridge bowls. Ew, she said. I like her already. Goldilocks took a picture of herself in my dad's chair, then my mom's chair. You want proof, little Miss Hoodie? She asked. Here it is. Next, she took a picture of herself in my chair. When she got up, the chair stuck to her rear. She waddled around, she jumped up and down. Finally, she gave the chair a good whack. and off it came in pieces. Oops, she said. There goes my allowance. See, she meant to pay us back. Not that I cared. That chair was way too small for me anyway. Here's Goldilocks slipped off her shoes, which was very thoughtful of her, and took some video of herself jumping on my dad's bed and my mom's bed. I can't believe I'm doing this, she giggled. Now, jumping on the beds is not allowed in my house. This was my one and only chance to get away with it. I tapped at the window. Ah! Goldilocks shrieked. Let me in, I begged. I won't tell. Goldilocks opened the window and let me in, and we introduced ourselves. She apologized for breaking in. We really were quite a team. And we jumped and we jumped and we jumped and we jumped until we heard my mom calling from the woods, Baby bear, where are you? Goldilocks raised an eyebrow. Baby bear, she asked. Seriously? Never mind, I said. Here's my plan. I ran downstairs just as my parents were coming in. Baby bear, Mom exclaimed. Thank goodness you're okay. There's an intruder upstairs, I said. You know better than that to make up stories, Dad said. They sat down to eat their cold, dried out porridge. I brought in my broken chair. See, the intruder did this. What a naughty thing to do, said Dad, wrecking a perfectly good chair just to get our attention. But I saw her, I insisted. Come on.